Hello, welcome back. Welcome to the wonderful world of phrasal verbs. There are about 10,000 phrasal verbs, I think, and they are used very frequently, particularly in informal situations by mother tongue speakers, particularly English, American, Australian, South African. Okay, so it's very important that you recognise and understand some main or commonly used phrasal verbs. Okay, and some will definitely come up in your exam. Okay, so first let's have a look at what is a phrasal verb. So a phrasal verb is a verb that you probably already know, a very simple one, like get, give, take, come, get, okay, plus a preposition. And that verb and preposition together transforms the meaning of the verb into something sometimes completely different, sometimes a bit different. Sometimes it's easy to guess what it means, but sometimes it transforms it into something completely different, okay? With a meaning that's quite difficult to guess if you don't know what it is. Okay, so for example, if we take the verb to take, okay, in Italiano prendere, but if I say to take up, as in I'm going to take up a new hobby, it means cominciare un nuovo passatempo. Okay. So the examples I've got here are I'm going to take up photography, she took up vlogging, and how about taking up a new sport? Okay, you can transform phrasal verbs like normal verbs into any tempo verbale, any tense that you like. So in the future, in the past, in the present, in the continuous. They're really useful. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So the other thing you have to remember, the other thing that makes phrasal verbs a little bit difficult is that sometimes the same phrasal verb can change meaning depending on its context. Okay, so for example, I've got the example get up here. I don't know which side I'm pointing at. Get up. So if I say I usually get up at 9 a.m, but today my alarm didn't go off, so I was late, it means wake up means get out of bed. But for example, if a teacher says we're going to have to change rooms, everyone get up, please, it means stand. Bit confusing. Generally, the meaning is kind of alzarsi, but the context can be a bit different. Sometimes the context can make the same phrasal verb dramatically different. Let's go to the next slide. So here, this is another funny thing about, funny as in strange, thing about phrasal verbs. So sometimes the verb and the preposition or the adverb are stuck together, okay? So they're non-separable. For example, like the first example here, I've said he was very sick, but he got over the flu, as in he recovered the flu. So got over, get over is stuck together. But in the next phrase, you can see these phrasal verbs are separable. So you can take the verb and the preposition apart and you can put something in the middle, the object in the middle. So we can say, if we take the phrasal verb take out, we can say he took his friend out for lunch, or he took out his friend for lunch. It works both ways. Okay, so you can say, I don't like these jeans. I'm going to take them, as in those jeans, back to the shop. Okay. So let's have a look at some common uses of phrasal verbs. The first slide I've got, that should appear in a second, if my programme is behaving well, yeah, here we go, is phrasal verbs with take. So you can have take on, take off, take over, take up. They all mean different things. Okay, so if, for example, I said H&M are taking on new managers, it means assumere new staff. Take off, you're probably familiar with. So if the plane takes off, oops, his hand. If the plane takes off, it leaves the ground. So the plane takes off at 9:30. Or to take over means prendere controllo di qualcosa. So I can take over the running of a company. Here I've got the business was taken over by an American company. I mean, the American company bought the other business and now they own it and they control it. Okay. Or you can take up a new hobby. We've done that one already. So I'm going to take up jogging as soon as the quarantine's over. Maybe. Okay, here comes the next slide. The next slide is phrasal verbs with go. So the examples here are go on, go off, go down, go through. There's lots more, obviously, but here's just a few that you might hear or see written, or you might get in your exam. These are very likely to come up in your exam, so it's important that you study the main ones, or the frequently, commonly used ones. So here, we often use to go on as to mean continue. So please go on talking. It's really interesting, as in continue talking, please. Okay. Go off means explode. So the bomb went off. Okay. The bomb went off and injured people is my example here. Or to go down, we often use now when we've got digital technology. So, for example, the internet went down, or the internet has gone down, or my WhatsApp has gone down. It doesn't work anymore. A few weeks ago, Zoom went down and I couldn't get it back, so we had to cancel the lesson. Last example here is to go through, and it means to look very carefully at something from the beginning to the end. So let's go through the questions one by one. Let's examine them and look at them carefully one by one. Okay, so the next round of common phrasal verbs use come. So come over, come up, come across and come out. So to come over means to pay someone a visit. So I can come over to my friend's house, or my friend can come over to my house. Okay, my example here is I'll come over after lunch. It means passo da te dopo pranzo. Okay, to come up is very specific. In this sense, it means something has happened. Something unexpected. So my example here is I have to cancel, something's come up, as in qualcosa inaspettato è successo, non posso fare, devo annullare. Okay? To come across, in this sense here, means to meet someone or find something by surprise. So, for example, if I was cleaning out a cupboard, I came across some old photos. So I didn't expect to find these photos, but I did. Okay, I came across some old photos. And the next one is to come out. So after the rain, the sun came out. It appeared. Okay. And then the last set of examples are with get. Now, get usually as a word, it means many things, but it can also mean a transition between two phases, and it often means that when it's used as a phrasal verb. So we've got get over, get in, get by, and get through. So to get over means the transition period between being sick and being well. So to get over an illness is to recover from an illness. So my example here is she's at home, she's getting over the flu. Okay. To get in means to arrive. So when I work in the office, I usually get in at about 8 o'clock. Here I've said I usually get in at 8:05. You usually get into school at about that time, I suggest. Now we're probably getting into the kitchen much later, I should think. Next one, to get by means to manage, as in riuscire da fare. We tend to use it in English as in to have difficulty to manage to do something. So we'd often say, I don't have a lot of money, I get by on a small amount each month. Or how am I going to get by without you? Come riesco a gestire tutte le cose senza di te, for example. Okay. And the last one is to get through. And in this sense, this has other senses, but in this sense, it means to make contact. So I get through to somebody on the telephone. So I've been ringing them all day, but I can't get through, as in they don't answer. The line is always engaged. Here, the answer is the phone line's always busy and I can never get through to speak to him. Yeah, I can't get through. Okay, that's it. Phrasal verb video number 2 is coming your way very soon. And I suggest that you use this video to look at some of the PDFs that I send and complete the questions. Okay.